What's up guys, this is Chris here, and today we're going to be talking about the Hellcat Pro. I have painstakingly shot this over the past few months. I put 1,000 rounds through this gun, and I wanted to give you my personal opinion after all of that. So we're going to be doing a full 1,000 round review today on one of the highly requested guns on the channel. The Hellcat Pro is the bigger version of the Springfield Hellcat, which made a pretty big splash a few years ago because it was one of the first competitors to the P365. It took the P365 magazine technology and they essentially made the Springfield version of that gun, which ended up being slightly bigger with a little bigger slide, a little bit less recoil, but a little bit harder to conceal overall. Some people have a lot of strong feelings about the Hellcat. I personally like it a little bit. My wife absolutely hates it, and I know a lot of other people who don't like it as well for one reason or another. Introduce the Hellcat Pro, which essentially is the compact version of that. And it's not a compact in the same sense that you would normally think it would be. It rivals the capacity and barrel length of many compact handguns, but we'll get into in a minute why I think it actually improves upon the design. Before we do that though, I do want to mention the page supporters. Thank you guys very much for supporting the channel. That's the best way to do it. If you like the content, just go to the description below, hit that link, and sign up. Also in that description is a link to a local shelter in Ames, Iowa. It's the YSS. It could really use your help, so please go down and donate to those kids. And finally, I do want to thank Mr. Guns, my boy Elliot over there, let me borrow this Hellcat. This is his, and let me shoot 1,000 rounds through it to give you my personal opinion. So big thanks to Mr. Guns for letting me borrow this guy for review. Now, the Hellcat Pro is a 3.7-inch barreled 9mm striker fired polymer frame pistol. That's pretty common. Well, the 3.7-inch, it's a little bit shorter than the 4-inch, something like a Glock 19, which we're going to be comparing it to through this video, just simply so you get an idea. The Glock 19 is not the best compact gun anymore necessarily, but it is for sure still the gold standard and still the highest selling gun in the United States. So it seems obvious to compare it to it, especially considering the Hellcat differs from it in a lot of ways that I don't think people understand. So they're essentially the same action, essentially the same capacity, 15 round magazine capacity, 15 round magazine capacity, 4-inch barrel, 3.7-inch barrel. So they are kind of sort of copying the Glock 19 like every other company in the past 25 years, and for good reason. It's a very good size, it's a very shootable gun, just big enough to shoot well, just small enough to carry. Whereas the Hellcat takes that kind of to another level with the same ballistic performance with the 3.7-inch barrel. It has an optics mounting system just similar to the Glock 19 right out of the box. That's pretty impressive. We have high definition steel front and rear night sights, which is very, very cool. We have front slide serrations, which work very well. We have a pad for a thumb here, but where the gun actually differs is in the thickness. So as you can see there, because of the magazine technology, the same technology that brought you the Hellcat and the P365, they're able to bring you a longer grip with a longer slide and still maintain that very thin overall profile. If you actually look at them back to back here, you can see that even though they have the same capacity, relatively the same ballistic performance, one is significantly easier to carry than the other, and you can see that even more exaggerated on the magwell. It's 15 rounds, 15 rounds. Very cool in my personal opinion, and I think that's going to be a continuing trend among compact guns. Now personally, I love the Glock 19 because I got big hands, I'm a big guy, it's easier for me to carry, but for a lot of people this really is the only alternative to carry a 15 round compact firearm. You get a lot of firepower with this gun for a very small and lightweight package, coming in at only 21 ounces as well unloaded, making it a significant difference with this as well. Glock used to be the lightest and smallest pistols out there, now coming at around 26 ounces unloaded, I believe. This is over 5 ounces lighter and still maintaining that same capacity. I gotta admit, I like that a lot. All the specs aside though, we'll get into actually how it performs. So we shot 1,000 rounds for this of varying ammunition types, and I gotta tell you, it was 100% reliable with everything that we shot. We shot Eli 115 and 147. We shot Phoenix remanufactured ammunition throughout the course of the testing, and it ran that. The bulk of the testing was done with Federal, and then it was also done with some DRZ here from True Shot Ammo. Big thanks to them for that. And we shot pretty much every ammunition type that we normally shoot through firearms, and it had no issues, no chokes, no stovepipes, no nothing. It's got a pretty high quality steel magazine, which I like a lot. Inserts in the gun very well, comes out of the gun very well, especially for a small gun. All of the controls work really well also. it's a pretty well-designed gun in my opinion. It has good texture all the way up the grip and then on the top of the grip, which is something that I pretty consistently complain about. We have a Picatinny rail there that works pretty well for lights and lasers, so you could easily conceal this. And if you weren't a weapon light guy, you could take it out of your concealed carry at night, and then you could put a weapon light on it. It would be a very formidable home defense gun in the right hands. As far as the reliability goes, it was absolutely excellent. Now, one thing I'm going to knock it on for sure is going to be the accuracy of the gun. And I don't know if it's the inherent accuracy, but I wasn't able to achieve quite as good of accuracy with this gun as I was the SIG Spectre comp, which is a little bit more expensive, but the same size. Especially something like a Glock 19, I can shoot significantly better. Part of that's because of the bigger grip, so it allows me to get my full big old bear claws on it. But I think a lot of it has to do to the trigger. You know, I mentioned in the first shots video I like the trigger, but I liked it more than I thought I did, not necessarily by comparison to a bunch of other guns. You're coming in at about a 7.5 pound striker fired trigger here. So as you can see there, we'll dry fire it. That's kind of long. And the reset is certainly longer than it needs to be, and that's kind of the aspect of the gun I don't like. When I think about concealed carry guns, I think about 10 yards and in for the most part. Now I know engagements can happen further than that, and trust me, I trained for that. I'm one of those weirdos who shoot handguns at like 100 yards all the time. But 10 yards and in is what you're going to be dealing with most of the time. So what you want is a fairly consistent, fast rate of fire, up close, personal, in the right target zone. So you need a good degree of accuracy, a good degree of speed. Especially with small guns, it's hard to get.
It's probably the first 9mm that I've ever shot that feels like I'm shooting a 40.
Right?
I just don't always... And even though this is a little bit smaller and lighter and easy to carry, you do sacrifice some of the shootability of the firearm. So you're gonna have to understand that. The trigger's a little bit rough, it's a little bit heavy. They probably make aftermarket triggers if you're interested. That's the answer to Glock as well. But you are probably gonna have to go that route if you're looking to get high performance by comparison to something like Shield Plus or P365, which come in at around the same price point and around the same overall feature set and capacity. You can get the P365 XL, same size and overall profile as this gun. It's gonna have a better trigger. You're probably gonna have overall a little better customer service as well. And also the Shield has a performance center version with the 4-inch barrel and longer grip as well. So there are competitors to this gun. This isn't the only gun that does the size and weight right. And in my opinion, the other guns probably do the speed and accuracy a hair better. That being said, if you shoot this gun well, it's absolutely a pretty decent gun. I mean, it's hard for me to knock speed and precision, partly because that is shooter dependent, but we did have me, who I shoot a ton, shoot this gun. We had Nick from PewView on Instagram shoot this gun a bunch of times, and he's a phenomenal shot in his own right. You can go over and check that out. We had his girlfriend Brooke, and my wife also shot this. All 4 of us shot this, and none of us performed with this gun as well as